All right, well, we finally got some news on the Darius Garland front. It has been reported by the Cleveland Cavaliers that Darius Garland injured his left great toe during Monday night's game against Miami, the same Miami team that will be playing tonight. Further evaluation post-game and Tuesday by the Cavaliers medical team revealed a contusion. The incident occurred during the second quarter when Garland made incidental contact with Heat forward Nikola Jovic on a drive to the basket. Garland will receive daily treatment and continue with the established post-surgery management plan. He is listed as out for tonight's game in Miami, and his return to play availability will be updated as appropriate. Now, why is the wording important here? Honestly, it should be quite clear to you. It seems that Darius Garland appears to have avoided possible structural damage to his foot, which is way better than what it could have been. And based upon what we heard just now, combined with how he was listed, injury management, I think that's how it was labeled on the injury report yesterday. That's a hell of a lot better than what it could have been. The structural damage could have led to him missing months, right? Weeks, months, however long. But this is good news because it means that Darius, they're probably just going to continue to play it cautiously with him, probably like they should have to begin the season outright and just keeping him out until he is 100%. Now, I know that's tough because on the one hand, you're not going to really know if you are back in terms of the rehabbing and the play without playing. And so that's always a tough thing. But just purely based upon the wording of that statement, it sounds like he avoided anything major. But he's going to be out. And honestly, that's fine. The playoffs, that is what most people say, oh, that's all that matters. Regular season doesn't matter. All that types of stuff, right? And on the one hand, I hate when people say that. But at the same time, in the case of this Cavaliers team, that's kind of where things lean at. Nobody really cares about the end result of the regular season as long as the Cavaliers make the playoffs as a top 4 seed, preferably. That's where most fans' mindsets are at right now. Some of the developments during the season, they absolutely matter. The regular season absolutely matters to me, but at the end of the day, as long as this team can get there healthy, and Darius Garland is probably the most important player in regard to that, that is more than okay if he misses a good amount of time during the regular season. But it sounds like it may not even be that. It just sounds like he's going to be out for now. But with that being the case, that gives other guys the opportunity to step up. And this Wednesday night game against the Miami Heat represents a golden opportunity for a number of the younger players on this roster. That being the result of Darius Garland's absence, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Jalen Tyson, all of which will be joining the likes of Max Strus on that bench, all being ruled out for one reason or another. Hell, Larry Nance Jr. is also questionable as of recording this, but even without including Nance, that's already 5 rotation caliber players. And they also have a decision to make on Lonzo Ball, who isn't actually supposed to be playing back-to-backs according to the offseason plan that they put in place, at least. And I know things can change depending upon the circumstances or how a player is handling his current load and duties, and the injuries can necessitate a change in said plan. But with the Cavaliers also playing tomorrow, having to make that trip back home after tonight's game, I just don't know if we'll see Zoe either. We'll see in regard to that. The Cavs could potentially be down to DeAndre Hunter, Jarrett Allen, Sam Merrill, Craig Porter Jr., and Dean Wade as the remaining everyday players. So essentially, they face the possibility of literally half the rotation being out tonight. That means that we could see a heavy dose of the deep reserves. Now, something that should be noted as well is that the Cleveland Charge play tonight too. That's interesting because I would assume that due to the overwhelming amount of players that have already been ruled out tonight, that at least 2 of the two-way players are called up tonight, if not all 3 outright. That obviously being Naquan Tomlin, who we've rarely seen, Luke Travers, who the Cavaliers are still trying to evaluate and make a decision upon, and the recently signed Chris Livingston. We should also be getting a good amount of Thomas Bryant minutes. But the one player who might stand to benefit the most from all of these potential absences is none other than rookie guard Tyrese Proctor. Now, this isn't to say that it's not as important to players like CPJ or any of the two-ways, each of which are truly still trying to make it as an unquestioned rotational piece or a standard contract for that matter if you're a two-way. But Proctor, who is already on a multi-year investment, stands to benefit the most due to the sheer developmental opportunity it affords him during a rookie season in which he truly wasn't supposed to hit the court often in meaningful minutes. Now, we've already seen him get a few opportunities here and there and make something of those. He's also had some very understandable rookie mistakes and miscues, but with what little film we've seen on him, it's clear that he can play. And tonight presents just that type of opportunity to show what he can do in extended minutes. He's made an appearance in 9 out of the Cavs' 11 games thus far, but keep in mind that he is averaging just 11.6 minutes per game. That's 24th out of the 59 rookies who've logged minutes this year. It was always likely to be the case. And in those 11.6 minutes per game, he has posted averages of 4.6 points, 1.1 rebounds, and 1.2 assists while completing just 37.8% of his field goals, including 34.6% of his triples. But as I mentioned prior, we've seen him show some of that talent that got him selected in this year's draft. And I'm still racking my brain trying to figure out how this dude fell to the second round. Most notably, his performance just a few games back against the Washington Wizards, in which the young man scored 17 points on a pristine 5 of 6 from the field, all 5 makes coming from beyond the arc. The catch and shoot ability has been on full display as Proctor is knocking down 40% of his catch and shoot attempts thus far. In fact, dude actually has the 10th most catch and shoot triples made among rookies. Defensively speaking, Proctor has actually been pretty solid, all things considered. He has the best defensive field goal percentage on the team at 32.5%, holding opponents to 13 of 40 so far. Now, as I often say with this stat, because I know there's going to be somebody in the chat speaking up, you gotta take it with a grain of salt because it can be very misleading at times due to how defensive field goals are often credited to players. It's quite literally given to the closest defender, and even if on the film the player wasn't truly there to contest the shot, they're given credit one way or another, whether it's a make or a miss. That's how finicky this stat can be. So this is one of those stats where you truly do have to use the eye test more often than not. The good thing is they track it, so the film is there. For Proctor, there is some fluff in there, as a lot of these have been 3-point opportunities, but there has also been some really encouraging signs as well. For one, his screen navigation has been better than expected.
He puts the Cavs on top, 82-81.
Good job taking it
Proctor
down.
with the quick hit. There goes Proctor. He'll throw it down.
Back-to-back possessions for the Cavaliers on the offensive end.
I say all of this to say that the rookie has looked like a rook, but he's also flashed a bit of the two-way potential that he has. Now, there are two areas that are kind of related to one another that the Cavaliers could desperately use a boost in, and this is perhaps where Proctor could benefit from getting these developmental minutes. The first is dribble penetration. They were already struggling with that even with Donovan Mitchell in the lineup, and that is basically due to Darius Garland's absence in most of these games. They desperately need someone, preferably another guard, who can put pressure on the rim. Donovan Mitchell averages 12.8 drives per game. Darius, in his 3 appearances, has averaged 11, but after that, there's a steep or sharp decline, a sharp drop off from the rest of the guards. Craig Porter Jr. is 3rd with 3 per game, and Lonzo is even worse at 1.8 per game. Listen, I've already said it a lot. Lonzo's not a drive and kick kind of guy. He's just not really a driver, period. And Craig, while he can do it, it's just not something that we see frequently enough from him, whether it be due to his reluctance or the coaching staff's reluctance to use him in that way. So they need somebody who can generate extra rim pressures, get that dribble penetration, just drive to the basket. And once you do that, it can open up a lot more for the offense. And the second thing, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the dribble penetration issue, is simply just getting guys like Jarrett Allen involved more. Get the bigs involved more. Offensively speaking, everything cannot be solely reliant on Darius Garland feeding the bigs. When Darius Garland is not on the floor, you have to find ways to creatively get the ball to your bigs. And what we have seen is that it comes and goes. Case in point, in the game against Miami on Monday night, when Darius left, Jarrett Allen was essentially benched. And in my estimation, is because Darius was not out there to feed him the ball. And I thought Jarrett didn't have a bad game by any means, but his effort, his his involvement in the offense, it can all stem from Darius Garland being out there. Now, that is not an excuse, but it is a simple observation. That is how important Darius has been. And so getting the bigs involved is something that I think that has to happen. They have to get it from somebody else too. Now, I can't be the only person that remembers that fans actually used to get mad at Cleveland for spamming pick and roll, but shit, do that at this point. Last season as a team, Cleveland was in the 96th percentile in terms of pick and roll ball handling with a frequency percentage of 21.8%. This year, they sit at 17.1%. Now, clearly, that's because Darius is not out there. You got to use DHOs more to get these guys involved too. And a big part of that last year was Max Strus, who was also out. Him and Allen had a great two-man game in that spot. And I don't think it's beyond reproach for a guy like Tyrese Proctor or Sam Merrill, who we've seen do some of the same things as Max, be able to provide that. You have to be able to get it from somewhere. And I'm not saying that Proctor is all of a sudden capable of being a floor general or anything, but I've seen him operate as the ball handler in pick and roll sets and hit his man in stride or a shooter out on the perimeter. So all I'm saying, if I'm saying anything at all, is that it can be done. It just requires a little bit more offensive creativity and trying things that may feel a little bit uncomfortable to certain types of players out there. And for Proctor, I think tonight, with everybody who's going to be missing, represents a golden opportunity for development. That does not always happen for a young player, a rookie on a team that many people consider to be a true title contender. So take advantage of these opportunities. And we have seen how that has worked for players like Jalen Tyson, who was in very much the same spot as Proctor is this year, where, hey, this is a stacked team. There's not a lot of opportunities for me to see the floor in meaningful minutes. And now I finally have my turn, and I'm going to use that and show what I've worked on all offseason. This is a perfect example, perfect opportunity for Proctor to do much the same. And I really hope that's the case tonight against this Miami Heat team. And with Darius potentially missing more time, he could stick in the rotation even longer. And we know that this season, the early portion was always going to be heavily influenced by the injuries. It was heavily going to lean into experimentation and evaluation. And I think that Kenny has done a lot of that this year. And Proctor, he fits right in that. And hopefully this will only end up strengthening him as time goes on. But this is just a perfect opportunity, a golden opportunity for Proctor to shine. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think that Tyrese has a great opportunity on his hands? Do you think that the team needs to just go ahead and be overly cautious with Darius Garland, just hold him out, put him in a bubble, wrap him up in bubble wrap until the playoffs begin? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. As always, go Cavs.